President of the United States.
I was bruised, but my ribs were not cracked.
Labeled as Duchess difficult.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
President Trump in prime time addressing a deeply divided Congress and country. His aides promising he'll try to unify Americans.
The president is calling for an end to sort of resistance and retribution politics and calling for cooperation and compromise.
But the president will be addressing a skeptical chamber, including House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who will be seated right behind him. Democrats are emboldened after gains in the midterm elections and the recent shutdown where the president backed down. Tonight, a week and a half ahead of the next funding deadline, President Trump's expected to re-up his demand for a border wall, amid threats he'll soon declare a national emergency if Congress doesn't deliver.
Well, we're going to have to see what happens on February 15th. And
you're not taking it off the table?
Well, I don't take anything off the table.
Even some Republicans are questioning that strategy, calling it a dangerous precedent that likely won't succeed.
I am concerned about it. I think it's of dubious constitutionality.
Also on the president's plate tonight, areas where the parties could work together, like infrastructure, trade, and prescription drugs. And he'll reportedly set the goal of ending the HIV epidemic by 2030. President Trump's expressed interest in working across the aisle before.
I call upon all of us to set aside our differences, to seek out common ground. The time for trivial fights is behind us.
As for who the president's invited to the address, the White House released the guest list overnight, saying it represents the very best of America, including family members of a couple allegedly killed by an undocumented immigrant, survivors from last year's synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh. Also included Alice Johnson, the 63-year-old grandmother serving a life sentence for a drug conviction, pardoned by the president after Kim Kardashian lobbied for her release, and an 11-year-old boy who's been bullied over his last name, Joshua Trump.
We were just talking about your co-star, Jussie Smollett. Of course, you play Cookie on Empire, and you're his mom in the show, and I know you in real life have so much affection for him. He just actually made his first public appearance over the weekend. We'll play a little bit of it.
I was bruised, but my ribs were not cracked.
There's a lot that I haven't been able to say. Just because there's been a lot of stuff that has been said about me that's absolutely not true.
He's already back and performing.
Yeah.
I know you've said how much your heart goes out to him. What's your reaction?
I mean, obviously, you know, life is spiritual warfare, and we're seeing it right before our very eyes. So, you know, you just have to stay close to what you know. Jussie is love. That's who he is, and that's all he knows. So in this situation, hate won't win. It will not.
What kind of words of encouragement did you give him?
I just told him to walk in his truth, you know, just stay the Jussie that everybody loves. And you saw the outpour of love that he had. So he has touched a lot of people, you know, in his career. So I just told him, just walk in your truth, baby. No one can take that from you.
The truth about Meghan. People magazine's headline says, 5 friends speaking out against what they call global bullying.
Meghan's friends have seen her depicted in the UK press negatively, labeled as Duchess difficult. They're worried about her and they're worried about the baby, and it's time for them to speak out on her behalf.
Meghan's dad has claimed she won't answer his messages. But before the wedding, one longtime friend says he wouldn't take her calls. After the wedding, Meghan wrote a letter, the friend remembers, saying, "Dad, I'm so heartbroken. I love you. I have one father. Please stop victimizing me through the media so we can repair our relationship." The friend says Thomas Markle replied to his daughter with a long note that ended by asking for a media photo op. He knows how to get in touch with her, the friend says. He's never called, never texted. She's devastated, and at the same time, she has a lot of sympathy for him. The friend's also fighting back against anonymous reports about the wedding itself. She didn't throw a fit about a tiara or ask for a fragrance to be sprayed, one says. Another describing how spiritual she is, how serious and respectful she takes her relationship with God, adding she'd never ask for something like that. Claims that Meghan is hard to work with are also unfair, the friends say. She's incredibly grateful for everything her team at Kensington Palace does for her.
Meghan just sort of sits back and silently endures a lot of these lies and mistruths.
And the friends offer a rare insight into Harry and Meghan's surprisingly simple life. Meghan cooks for herself and Harry every single day. There's no chef or butler. Apparently, she even styles herself.
One of the things one of her friends told us is that when she hears folks say that Meghan is acting, or this is her biggest acting role to date, that it couldn't be further from the truth.